Hi, my name is Fiso Mazibuko, and these are some of my favorite things. Now, a lot of these things it's more symbolic than them being really my favorite things in the whole world. Because I think a lot of my favorite things are, people. It's things that I hold dear to my heart. But I'll just take you through a few of the things I really enjoy. So I want to start with this one. It's empty right now, but this is my travel pouch for my cigars. I love to smoke cigars when I want to relax. I obviously try to keep it down to the minimum, maybe once, twice a month. I'm not encouraging anyone to smoke, but I love it. It helps me to relax. I work really hard, so it's always important for when we work hard to find things that we can just enjoy. When we're relaxing, maybe a glass of wine, something nice. But yeah, this is one of my favorite things, especially when I travel as well. That's when they're not confiscating it at the airport. All right, then I'm gonna come to this. This is a vintage Manchester United top. It's a little bit dirty, but I haven't worn it in like 100 years. This is signed by Owen Hargreaves. I worked with him during the FIFA World Cup. One of my favorite players at Manchester United, great player for Bayern Munich. And this is my club, man. So this is definitely up there with one of my favorite things in this world. And then, yeah, probably two of the more symbolic sort of things. This is my playing jersey from when I was playing for KwaZulu-Natal schools for cricket. Symbolic for many reasons. I think up until this point, I had always kind of achieved as a young man, but could never really achieve at the highest level. This marked a turning point mentally for me where I truly learned how to be great. And funny enough, I actually received a DM on Instagram really recently from one of the Proteas assistant coaches and South Africa A coach, Wandile Kwavu, and he asked me, did you ever play in an under-17 week in Joburg? And I'm like, yeah. Did you play for Natal? Yes. Did you score 100 against Eastern Province? Yes. And then he was like, I've been looking for this guy for years because I was wondering where he went to. But it's a game that taught me so much. And, this was the year where I remember just having that feeling that, hey, man, I can do things. I can also compete at the very highest level. So, from a mental point of view, a really big moment for me. And then here, these are some of my school blazers. So this is from Kingsway High School. You see, this one's a little bit messy, in a good way. Obviously, I was head boy at Kingsway High School, and I'd obviously received honors and for cricket, hockey, and this was from Glenwood High School during my post-matric year. I got honors for hockey. The reason why these are symbolic to me is, I think, as a young man, you kind of setting the foundation to how you want life to be. All of these things taught me about hard work. Playing sport at a high level taught me about hard work, never giving up. I also took part in the school musical, which, we laugh at now, but those are things that we'd have to do after hours. But you still have to get up for school in the morning. It's those sort of things that just taught you about really putting time into something, putting time into your craft in order to get something really good at the end of the day. So yeah, from an early age, I always tried to teach myself that, if you want to be the best, you got to really work hard. And these were rewards of that from a young age. And obviously at Glenwood High School, this was the start of this was the last place I was essentially at a school at, and eventually went to become an adult. But it was a final step and the most crucial step. I grew up without a father, so there were certain things I always felt I lacked as a young man in terms of just my development. And this is where Coach Linda Zondi, who became the Proteas convener of selectors, this is where he taught me about being tough here. And I always tell him thank you, because it helps me so much today just to be able to drive through challenges, because sometimes you're not aware that you've got to work on your mind. So thank you for that, Mr. Zondi. And then lastly, the greatest. This is a picture of my mother. My father passed away when I was in grade 1, so she was mom and dad. Taught me so much, but I think the biggest thing I take from her was she always taught me, to get yourself into positions in life where you're not someone else's problem. And sometimes it's the smallest lessons that really stick out. And I think one of the most symbolic, and it may sound absolutely stupid to someone else, but just about sharing and never eating alone. She used to go crazy if you nibbling on a burger somewhere and there's people sitting there and you're like, did you offer these people something to eat? And I'm like, well, it's my burger. It's like, no, you can't eat alone. So again, may not seem like something much, but it just gave me that foundation to say, you know what, in life there'll be ups and downs, but always be a good person and work hard. So thank you, Mom. All love, sharp. And those are some of my favorite things, but probably my favorite of them all is my house that I was lucky enough to buy 4 years ago. That was a big moment for me. But I'm nothing without this person, without my family. So at the end of the day, I appreciate it all. So those are some of my favorite things.